Hey, hey, hey. Ready?
Hey, so I'm glad to be here with you. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, Sir Charles Carey. I am a peak performance strategist. I am a music producer, author, and I'm just grateful to be able to do the things that I do. I really love um, what I do because I'm very passionate about it.
Hmm.
And I didn't discover that you can be more than one thing. I always had that thinking or that feeling like it's all about being an accountant or being this. Why can't you be dual things? Why not?
Yeah.
And I can. I
So
work
is
both
that
sides of the mic.
so we're here at CBC and you're here in the author circle.
Yes.
You've published several books and you're here today with one really special one. Can you tell us about it?
Well, I have a book series called the Radiate the Brain book series.
Okay.
And the Radiate the Brain book series really focuses on communication and leadership, but the foundation is all about mindset. And I
Okay.
believe the right mind is I guess you could say my hook. The right mindset is all you need, and a lot of us don't have the right mindset. And it's not that we don't want to have it or don't understand how important it is, but we've never even considered it.
So why did you decide to write the book? Like, what's the story behind the series? Because I love the title, Radiate the Brain and Change the Game.
Okay, well, when I had some health challenges and I
Hmm.
had some mental health challenges as well at a point in my life I guess about 20, 30 years ago. And when I was able to make that 180-degree shift, I met a man by the name of Willie Jolly. He's known as Dr. Willie Jolly now. And he was one of my first true professional development mentors. And he said, Charles, you really need to have a book if you want to have credibility. And I wrote a book. It was a book of poetry. It was nice and it was good, meaningful, but it wasn't enough for me. But it was
Okay.
my first attempt. Then I led to Courage Facing Mortality. Cancer was not my only obstacle.
Okay.
It became an Amazon bestseller. So now I'm starting to feel really good
Congratulations.
about myself. Thank
Hmm.
you. And then I said, well, you're going around the country, you're speaking at different government agencies and different facilities. You need to write about what your experience was from a professional development perspective. And that gave birth to the Radiate the Brain book series.
So I'm glad that you pointed out that there's an emphasis on development and professional development because I believe the book has resources and exercises.
Yes.
So tell me about the goal of the book,
The
the
goal of
book
the book
series.
series, the book as well as the series, is to make this this book and the series itself become the individual's personal resource. A lot of people write books and they sell them or they give them away or whatever, and it becomes dust on the night table. Well, my books are written with exercises in them so that you have to really face,
Hmm.
who you are. When you write down whatever your thoughts are, and it's been said that when you write something in your own handwriting, the thought or the memory, it lasts a lot longer than just maybe having a conversation or just simply reading about it.
Thus, journaling, right? The
Right.
practice of therapeutic journaling.
So I'm challenging the reader. I'm challenging you. What is your experience? What did you feel? What did you do? What did you take away? What did you learn? In each book from the series, I'm asking you questions that make you think and cause you to write down, to scribe your experience. And you may look at the book, I don't know, a week later, a month later, maybe even a year later, and realize,
Hmm.
wow, my circumstances have changed.
Hmm.
I've grown, or wow, I'm in the same place. Or wow, I read the book, but I never did the exercises.
Hmm.
So it's really to push you or to push the reader
It's
to do more.
interactive.
It's definitely interactive, you
It,
know.
it 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 sounds like it has a level of accountability to it
Oh,
as well,
absolutely. Even
and
if
I think that's important. Instead of telling people what they should do or suggesting, there is the challenge of it and holding them accountable and them holding
absolutely,
themselves
even if they
accountable.
don't realize it.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
That's really cool. So,
Yeah.
how many books are in the series?
There are four books in the series. There's Radiate the Brain and Change the Game. There's What's So Hard About Being You. There is A Line by Design. And then finally, After the Diagnosis, from crack
Hmm.
to cancer to cured.
Hmm.
So it's a
Well,
4-book series.
what a journey.
Yeah.
What a significant journey. And I thank you for sharing it. Projects like this, we never know how exponential they could be. Someone, like you said, can buy the book and put it on the nightstand.
Yep.
Somebody grab it from a box years later and, have that enlightenment and that breakthrough.
Absolutely.
So we recently met today, but we've had some conversations about mindset.
Yes, we have. Yes. And I just think that the philosophy behind the book series really is something that people today, I'll focus on young people, but even some of us seasoned adults need to rethink where they are or where they could go, or, how did they end up where they are, and realize that, wow, I don't have to stay here. Or, wow, I don't have to allow my life to be a one-trick pony, so to speak. I was sharing with someone earlier today that I've been driving for about a year and a half. Just got my own car, just got licensed, illegally licensed, right? And I got my own car, and I like went through 5 cars in the process of 2 years, because I didn't know what I really wanted to drive, and I didn't know what I didn't know, how simple it was to get a license, right?
Yes.
But I'm just doing that a year and a half ago.
Yes.
I'm in the process, literally, of buying my first home
Yes.
in my name.
Yes.
I could have and should have maybe had the home 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm just coming to that point. So my point of saying that is that we all have an opportunity to grow.
Mm-hmm.
We can shift, transition, whatever word that's, appropriate, but it's an opportunity to grow, and nothing like really expanding your horizons.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about, being the best version of you.
I understand that. And I really relate to that because I am very multifaceted. And where we come from, oftentimes you are told exactly what to do, when to do it, what to wear while you're doing it.
Yes.
Speak when spoken to, etc. And then when you're young, one of the first things they ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Right.
Which is something I wanted to make sure I've never asked my children. Because to be honest, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and we are all very exponential.
Yeah.
Once people realize that if you want to do something, just do it.
Now I want to challenge you on
deal.
that, and not in the sense of challenge, but
Mm-hmm.
In my book, What's So Hard About Being You, there's a chapter called The Lie, where we were told to, go to school, get good grades, and get get good education and go live your life, right? Well, not just that, but there's so many traditional things that we were told. And as I've gotten older, I realized that it doesn't have to be that way.
Not at all. I was actually, when I wasn't gifted, my whole life, I come from a family of scholars. So doctors, professors, quite a few educators of higher learning. And they all went to certain schools, pledged with certain sororities.
Right.
And I've never, although I love knowledge. I don't think we should ever stop learning, ever.
Right.
I was the kid that would read the back of the cereal box over and over and over again if I ran out of stuff to read. But I've never thought to find myself in higher education. I never thought of myself as a teacher, which is funny because at 23, I started my own company. But at 18, I was an independent contractor for marketing.
Really?
And I was in college, and one of my first 9-to-5s was Microsoft, actually. And I was in Microsoft, and I was part of the onboarding for people who were getting their certifications at the time.
Okay.
But then I would do some part-time work on the weekends, which was promotions.
Okay.
And they paid me probably 4 times as much as what my 9-to-5 did, just doing promotions. So 18, 19, I'm a fast learner. I'm like, well, let me lean over here, which is what I did. And while I was in college, I was making 6 figures.
Wow.
I ended up going
amazing.
on tour with Bacardi. I met my husband. And again, I'm 20. I went on tour at 21 because Bacardi wasn't having it,
Okay.
So once I did that, I had come to a situation with my family where they wanted me to continue school.
Okay.
And I knew just being an entrepreneur, I was making more money than they were.
Right.
With all of the degrees, there was no doctor in front or any fancy letters behind my name. And with respect to that, because these are brilliant people. I just knew my passion was somewhere
I'm gonna
else.
say, but the amazing thing is that you realize that within yourself, and that's what I share with
Because the proof was in the pudding.
Right. And so when I speak to collegiate students or even, high school, even younger kids, I ask them, what do you want to do when you get older? Some say they don't know. And I say, well, that's okay. Some have a specific thing. But what I walk away telling them is that whether you know or don't know, it's okay, because you may change your mind. And that's okay to do. Because as we grow, the evolution of you is unique and should be authentic to you.
I love that you said that, because I don't believe that people change. I believe that people grow.
Right.
And I'm glad that you said that, because you either grow or you go.
Yep.
So every sector has changed in our lives. If we think about technology, if we think about our day-to-day life and experiences,
right,
all of those things, all of these interactions, even the ones we're having right now,
right,
is new. It's changed. It's new. But our education system is pretty much the same.
And I love people, and I swear I could possibly be the type of person that loves people to a fault. But one thing I tell, whether they're friends or first time I'm meeting someone, I will not dismiss or downgrade my thinking because you have not had the experience that I have. If you want to take the path or the road least traveled, that's okay. But it's not okay for me. And if I decide to go that way, I'll go because I choose to. But don't think for one moment that that's necessarily who that I am. I may be just doing it with you because I'm passing the time, but I will not unknow what I know. Absolutely. To make you feel comfortable. I will not do that.
And that was me at 21. At 21, that was me deciding not to continue that path. I was already in debt.
But you're a PhD though, aren't you?
No.
Okay, what's your credentials? Are you doctorate? Nothing like that?
No.
Well, no. Good for you, because you're
a
good
founder
example.
And a CEO.
Well, you're a good example of the fact that you don't have to follow the traditional path. I tell again, just because your brother did it or your mom did it doesn't mean you have to go into IT. Find out what makes you move, what makes you inspired, excited. Here's the thing I tell people at the end of most keynotes or workshop. I ask a question. It's a 2-part question. I say, what is the thing that you talk about more than anything else? And here's the second part. When you talk about it, a smile comes to your face, and maybe even inside, you're just like all bubbly and giddy. I said, whatever.
I feel that way about food.
Well, maybe there's something yet for you in
greedy.
Food. Well, I'm greedy too, so that's why I need to lose a few pounds. But whatever.
I could be in the worst mood. If people start talking about food, I just instantly get happy.
Look, get the wrong kind of food in my house, and I'm in trouble. But whatever the answer is, I tell people, whatever you come up with that question, you may have just met your purpose. And unfortunately and fortunately, there's more, because someone may say, well, I like reading. So how does that fit into their purpose? You could be an author. You can do showcases on books. You can bring other authors to a platform. We have
to speak to the journey. That whole process is a journey.
It is.
But it does start with mindset.
Yes.
Do you have any exercises off the top of your head that people can one of my things, correct, as a consultant as well, when I go into a company and there's something wrong, even when it's with a certain department,
right?
The first thing I do is have people take a personality test. We do a group personality test. It's not something they take home with them. Is that a
DISC assessment? Or
we do DISC.
Okay.
I'm certified DISC.
Okay.
We do DISC, and we do it in front of each other. And if we don't have time, we have some questions or whatever.
Right.
But that's for in the workplace, so people can understand how to get along with others.
Right.
And that expands their mindset in terms of others.
Okay.
But it does do them as well.
Sure.
But what would you recommend someone trying to figure this out by themselves? Do you recommend they purchase the book series, and if so, which one do they start
I
with?
think the book series is a good start, and not just because I've written it, but because I know that the information that's in it and the things that are asked of the reader will really challenge your thinking, and not in a difficult way, but I think in a curious way, and I also think in an exciting way. But I think that question I just posed, that two-part question, is one of the things. Take that question and honestly answer that question about you. Number one, when it comes to the book series, I would say there's 4 books in the series, but the 2 books that I find that are the most impactful are the initial one, Radiate the Brain and Change the Game. And then there is What's So Hard About Being You.
I love that title. I want to let
And,
you know, I love that title.
it doesn't get any more real than that. And the thing is, don't you dare deny yourself the truth. Hear the truth within yourself. Hear it in your thoughts, and maybe even say it out loud, God dang it. Because if you're not going to live in your truth, why are you taking up all of God's space and air, and just to be a bump on a log, so to speak? Now, if you want to do that, that's fine. But the point is, there's more to us. I think that everyone has a gift, talent, skill, or an ability.
I
And I
agree.
say this numerous times, but you don't look for it and you won't find it. But knowing that we all have a gift, why not challenge yourself to do that thing? Because it's probably the thing that's most exciting to you, the thing that's most meaningful. And you may have never thought of it. It may be something you've done once as a teenager and you haven't done it in years because, no, I'm an adult. I have to act like an adult. Why?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, take care of your responsibilities, but allow the child in you to live, to breathe, because that may be your passion flow.
So I'm what I'm getting from this is people should allocate, those who are searching for their purpose should allocate I would say weekly time to explore and lean into their passions to
Yeah.
find out their purpose.
Yeah, our day can't hurt, but if you could only take 15 or 20 minutes to think about you, selfishly think about you.
That's
What's
powerful.
good for you?
That's
Yes.
powerful because I feel like that is honestly the key to unlocking your mindset. You have to understand you.
Before this book
Yeah.
series was written, I used to have a program, and I share the program now with younger people. And the program was the 3 P's of success: find your pleasure, find your passion, find your purpose. And I think that is so powerful, so a remarkable thing to have in your arsenal, to realize that something that I like, that I'm really excited about, can be the thing that I was finally meant to do. And monetize it. Why not monetize it? Stop taking the old traditional thoughts of, oh, if you're just thinking about money. No, the love of money may be the root of all evil. But we need money. We need more of it than less of it. We need it sooner than later, and we've got to have it versus not having it.
It's part of our society and it needs to be leveraged.
Yes. So what Big Mama told you many, many moons ago when you was a little kid, you better let that thinking go and adopt yourself to what's happening now and really be real with yourself about your own future and destiny.
We are definitely made to prosper.
Oh,
for
heck
sure.
yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I mean,
So
come on.
another challenge, and one of the challenges for me was, and again, my name is Jennifer Embry. I'm the founder and CEO of the Enrichment and the Adore Group. But one of my challenges growing
I like
up
that name,
was
enrichment, and
enrichment with an MINT, because we
Enrichment.
help businesses
And
with
Adore.
financial literacy. Yes.
Okay.
And Adore Group is a marketing company that I started when I was 23 under a former name. But the Adora means is African Igbo for daughter of all.
Okay.
And so what I did was I staffed a lot of promotional models, a lot of marketers, and a lot of them were women of color. But
We definitely got
tried
to talk after this podcast.
pay them as much as I could, and they've gone on to start their own businesses. It's been excellent.
Okay.
And we have a staff now that's just powerful and phenomenal.
Right.
But one of my challenges growing up as gifted, which I've now learned is under the umbrella of neurodivergent, right? so kind of special needs,
Hmm.
which is why we were separated from other classes.
Okay.
But I see this in my son. But when
How old is he?
he is 17,
Okay.
but when you're good in many different things, it's very difficult to find out what your purpose is.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're multi-talented,
Yes.
it's, they say jack of all trades,
Master
master
of
of
none.
none.
Yeah. I
There's
know.
more to that saying, but it is quite difficult to hyper focus on one thing that you just happen to be good at, but
See,
you're not really
but it goes
passionate
back to that
about.
question about, what is the thing that you think about more than anything? And when you think about it, a smile may come to your face. Okay.
What
If
brings you joy?
right, but the thing is, whatever the answer is, it could have an umbrella effect. Like for instance, okay, I'm a speaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not only am I a speaker, I'm an author. I'm a keynote speaker. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
workshop facilitator. I put on my own workshops. And many of those workshops in those books, actually, the workshops are from the books, and those books are also a part of a coaching program. So
Mm-hmm.
that one thing spawned several other options, and a lot of people don't realize. Now you can do one, or you can do all of them, but do them in their right proportion, for the right purpose, and hopefully the right audience.
Mm-hmm.
So having
So
being
it's just a
multi-talented.
superpower that you can put under the umbrella once you figure out what your purpose
Let people
is.
stop letting people, I should say, make you feel bad about doing multiple things unless you don't have structure.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do believe that multifaceted activities and people with a brain that moves like clockwork,
Mm-hmm.
they do need structure and they do
Mm-hmm.
need alignment.
Mm-hmm.
But work through the process. Don't let anything go. Let it grow.
Oh, absolutely. And I think your book, by having those exercises, help to build, again, structure,
Yes.
accountability.
Yes.
So for those out there, go for the book, Radiate the Brain,
And
Change the
change the
Game.
game.
I really
Look for
love
the series, y'all.
the
I'm telling you.
series. Yes, I really like that. And it's a mindset isn't something you wake up with and you're enlightened. It really is a journey. And so I feel like your series kind of is your journey.
Look, it is. Look, I,
Mhm.
I spoke to somebody one time and they told me, I said, "What do you think about it?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "What?" I said, "How can I be?" "Well, I know your brain thinks." I said, "Yes, everybody's thinking about something. Even if it's not a thought that requires conversation, it's still a thought. Oh, wow, look at those green shoes. Oh, wow, the skies. Oh, what a lovely day. Those are thoughts. And many of us don't realize what we have in us.
Mhm.
And I find that can be somewhat problematic
Mhm.
because if you realize what you had in you, then you would realize how much you have working for you. So,
And that's where the enlightenment comes from.
yes,
That's
yes,
when, like
that's
you
the true
said,
Illuminati,
yeah, when you right, the light.
right?
When you see when you if someone was to purchase your book and complete the exercises and come back a few years later
Right.
and have a much different perspective, that's
Yes.
enlightenment. All
Look,
of
I
this is
talk about
growth.
things like risk and fear.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with that? I talk about things like mistakes. That mistakes aren't bad. It's a growing opportunity. I talk about the imposter syndrome. I mean, all these things are things that help to make you a better version of you.
When that became like a coin phrase,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't understand it.
Me either.
I just didn't get that phrase. And then I had a very powerful woman in Miami, Florida, kind of write a public dissertation.
Uh-huh.
She's a business owner, very progressive,
Right.
about like how she's lived with this syndrome for such a long time.
And I believe a lot of us have, and I think sometimes we do it without realizing that we're doing it. And then when we realize that we're doing it, we look at life differently because it's like, wow, I've been wasting all this time either thinking badly
Worrying
about
about
myself
that,
or
yeah.
worrying about the wrong things. Look, some of the topics in the book, knowing what reality really is, talking about risk and fear, the need of acceptance, even mistakes, being willing to invest in yourself, understanding that discomfort is not a bad thing, it's a necessary thing.
In
You
part,
need
when
to be
you have
uncomfortable.
to be when if your foot when you're a child and your foot starts to grow, you will be uncomfortable. Whenever you're growing, it's going to be uncomfortable. I
Exactly.
completely understand that. And I can relate to that.
So many people resist it because you're making them face something that they probably know but they don't want to address because they think that they're good. You can't talk around. Well, you can talk around it all you want to, your inabilities or your lack of willingness, but you're basically saying, "Let me die off like this," or "I've learned enough," and nothing can be further from the truth.
What an adventure for you to have recently acquired these things. And you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know how much joy learning something you don't know or experiencing something you don't know will bring you.
Look, I was always one of those kids that would ask questions, and when I grew up, you might get backhanded in your mouth because they say you're being fresh or you're talking too much or staying in a child's place. But the adults could not answer my questions sufficiently, or they may have felt like I was asking a question that was beyond either me or possibly beyond them. And even as a man, I still ask questions because I seek clarity, not because I want to be argumentative. And I can be argumentative, but I want to understand. I don't want to have a conversation with you and we waste 20 or 30 minutes and I'm going down the wrong path because you're not saying what you mean. But you're kind of hinting it.
Yes.
Don't hint. Tell me what we're talking about so we can hit the nail on the head and keep it moving.
Look, life is short.
Look,
Life
can you
is
imagine
short.
creating a foundation and you banging nails to create this foundation and you keep hitting your thumb? You ain't gonna never get no foundation.
You keep hitting your thumb, or you making a foundation somebody didn't ask for. You making a circle and it should be a square. It's a waste of time.
And then somebody's gonna want to be out. That's the reality of it, you know.
It's a waste of time. So I completely understand. I respect investing in yourself.
Oh my God, yes.
I feel like that's the one of the additional elements. If it was a recipe for growth, that is definitely one of the ingredients.
And that's another thing that people try to shortcut. They try to shortcut the shortcut. They don't want to invest in themselves, but they want the outcome as if they did.
Correct.
It
Instant
does not
gratification.
work like that.
Correct. Yes.
You've got to take the long route so you can really appreciate what you've earned, how you've invested your time and your finances into becoming that better version of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever someone tells me that they've gone through something, I give respect to it and let that time. And afterwards I say, well, you're through it. You're through it. If you think about it, if you sit and reflect and invest some time into thinking about it, you're here. You are through it.
Look,
that happened to you. That is not you.
Facts, as they say. But if I've wasted over 20 some odd years as a substance abuser, I'm a 2-time cancer survivor, and I wake up with excitement every single day because I can create a song, I can create a music video, I can write a book. I have the opportunity of going and speaking, empowering, encouraging, and inspiring other people. What more can you ask for? And what more can you not do? Come on, I'm on the backside of my life.
It's such a significant story. I want to thank you for sharing your story, and I really want to thank you for these books. I am very excited about it.
Well, I thank you for being here with me.
They're so well thought out.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go do a keynote somewhere.
Yeah, they're so well thought out and so considerate.
Yeah,
a place. It comes. You can tell it comes from a place where only someone who's been through it. Can talk on it.
Yeah,
and so for that, we thank you for your series.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Yes. Sir Charles Carey, or you can go to my website, sircharlescareyinc.com. Thank you.